Growing up, I would always be concerned about power dynamics. It wasn't necessarily being told what to do or having rules that bothered me, but being told what to do by someone who I didn't really care to listen to them. I didn't understand the logic behind what they would say, or I just wasn't in the mood to do it. I'll be honest, I'm just rebellious sometimes. And I don't see that as a bad thing. I just see it as part of my wish to be autonomous, independent, and to choose what I would like out of my life. Now, as an adult, it's translating into an interesting dynamic, and I'm always trying to learn, how do I relate better to people? How do I become a better leader? And I'm seeing that I could do power dynamics in a better way. Welcome to my channel. I'm Latia. Hello. For those who don't know me, I talk about a lot of different things, and for those who do know me, welcome back. It's nice to see you again. I will be talking about power dynamics and a little lesson that I learned from watching a TED Talk today that I just feel like sharing about, and someone that when I share about what I would like to do, a lot of people tell me about this woman, and so I'm excited to share more about what I've learned and the impact that the little bits of work that I've gotten from her have had on me. So please like, comment, share, subscribe if you enjoy this video. Now let's get to it. So Kasia Urbaniak, and I could definitely be butchering the crap out of her name, but she is a woman who has been a dominatrix. She's studied Taoism, she's been a dom, and she has been teaching women how to reclaim their power, is a simple way of doing it. And so today I felt like I'm really going down the path of empowering women, of reclaiming my power, of learning how to really self-care for myself via advocacy, and not just through facials, showers, baths, the self-care Sundays that involve like yoga or anything like that. What I'm really looking to do now is to really protect myself, to treat myself the way I've thought I was being treated, or that I need to be treated in order to thrive in my life. Now, what makes me very interested in this is that I had a conversation at the S Factor studio in New York City one time, and someone told me, she was like, you were being very submissive in this conversation that you were having. You allowed this person to direct the energy and attention. You were engaging in the instruction that she was giving / like the questions that she was asking, and then you were allowing yourself to like answer and, you know, feed off of it. And I found that to be very interesting because I hadn't heard of dominant and submissive as a relational dynamic. I've heard of it in the space of BDSM. I've known about it in life, like it's almost intuitive that it makes sense, it would work out in daily life, but I hadn't had someone be like, hey girl, you being submissive or you're being dominant. So that for me was really cool because she has done the work with Miss Kasia. I don't know how to pronounce her name properly. I have a sister whose name is spelled like her name but with a C, and we call her Kasia, and I feel like I heard her pronounce her name, but for some reason it just doesn't stick, and I think it's because of that. But to see it in action in life, where I was allowing her to lead me and guide me and direct me, it really helps add to the power of watching her TED Talk, where she talks about the difference between dominance and submissive in order to give a simple trick to help women reclaim their power. Now, the situation that she brings up in particular is the freeze. The moment when someone asks you something inappropriate or you're having a conversation and you might freeze up. So in her examples, it's pretty much like, you know, you might crush one area of your life, but then someone asks you something about your personal life, like whether you're having kids, whether you like sex, whether you want to do something in a hotel room or not, and you might freeze and either answer awkwardly, stumble. But what she says is that in those 3 to 5 seconds that we might give ourselves, what we do is we turn inward and we start focusing on us, our answers, the history of why the answer is the way it is. And instead of just saying, oh, I'm not answering that question, she suggests that you pause, gather yourself, direct the energy outwards towards the other person, and then you ask a question. So that question could be around just a question, like just ask them a question back, or it could be a question that questions their right to ask the question in the first place. So if it's a personal question, it's like, who are you that I have to answer this? Like, what is your authority? And that makes it just a really interesting dynamic. But I think the part of the video that I really like the most is how she talks about it's all about where we direct attention. That dominance is outward attention, autonomous, it's doing, getting things done, instructing people, and being aware of how the energy lands within someone else's world. And I know I don't do that a lot, because I know a lot of times I'm just like, whoa, I feel taken aback, so I'm just gonna pause and sit with myself and just like, I shut down, I tap out of this conversation. And she says that's a very submissive way to be, because like when you're inward and reflecting, you're just focused on yourself, your feelings, like what's going on in your world, and you're not necessarily engaging in like, what is the impact and the effect of the action that I've taken. So I really find this to be super interesting, because it's just very useful in becoming a better person. Being able to verbal spar, as I call it, I'm not good at that at all. Like, if you were to insult me, I'd probably just freeze or say nothing or sit with a weird look on my face processing it. The look would probably be very offensive, because a lot of people get very offended by it, and I don't mean it any harm by it. It's just my thinking face, I think. But with this lesson for myself, it like lets me pause, and it's like, I have been trained and conditioned to just answer any questions. Even though people keep telling me you don't have to answer questions you don't feel like answering, I still answer those questions that I don't feel like answering. And I know that I'm in a position where I would like to unlearn the training that I've been given as a woman of color, as someone who's been raised by people who were raised in the South, and just the challenges of living in America in this day and age. And like, the part that frustrates me is the fact that it feels like nothing has changed from the books that I was reading about the Tulsa race riots and the burning of different cities due to Black people thriving. It feels like we're stuck in time. And besides that, it's also just difficult trying to be a powerful person when I'm always forced to think about the other person's perspective, do this, do that. And it doesn't help me grow or thrive. It holds me stuck waiting on the other person to magically tell me what they're thinking or feeling without asking them. And that's always a bad move to take, because not everyone is going to just be forthcoming about what their internal world is like. And I think that's how life is. If you're not asking, you're not going to get the answers. But it's also frustrating and not fair to tell me to dictate my behavior based on what I think the impact of my action or inaction is on another person. That's unfair, and I've been taught to do that since I was a kid, and I know that that is among my big goals of things to unlearn. It's not my job to read your mind. It's not my job to care about your feelings if you're not going to share them with me. It's not your job to care about my feelings unless I share them with you, and even then, it's not your job. Like, my feelings are my business and my job, and your feelings are your business and your job. It's like when, I don't know if anyone's ever heard this before, but when sometimes people will come with their challenges or difficulties, it's like, sounds like a personal problem. Majority of our problems are personal problems. Personal as in, you're triggered by something in your past that has nothing to do with me or my intention. And sometimes we can work together to clarify it, but at the same time, there's a lot of times where we have to do individual work on ourselves to just be like, oh wow, I'm tripping, instead of it being like, you're the wrong one, you're so bad, you're so awful, why did you do this to me? I just don't understand, everybody hates me. That's usually my internal train of thought, so that's why I know I need to do work. So that's why I'm speaking on it, because I've been there, done that, got the postcard. So now I'm like, all right, I'm tired of living in this world of me being a victim and a baby. Time for me to grow up and be the big girl that I know I can be, and the grown woman, the powerful, strong, resilient, all that good stuff. But yeah, I believe her TED Talk is really good. I'll link it in the description so you can see that. I might even link her website, just because I really I'm starting a course that she has on taking back the power, and she gives 3 simple tools, which I think is dope. So I'm working through that, and I'm going to do my best to practice it. But she talks about dominance in the first video, which I actually did watch. I haven't watched the other 2 yet. So I hope you enjoyed this video. It was pretty on topic today. I did a great job. I'm proud of myself. Pat, pat. But it's a really good video. I hope you check it out. I will link it in the description. Please reach out to me if you're curious about having chats about it. I would love to work with people on being more powerful and owning their lives, because it's easier to help other people advocate for themselves than it is necessarily to practice solo, because sometimes doing things by yourself just is not the most effective way of doing things. It can be done, but it just takes a little bit longer, a little more effort, a little more intentionality. But please like, comment, share, subscribe, follow me, let me know what you're excited about. Please give me feedback. I really appreciate all the engagement that I receive, so thank you for your comments and engagement. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I shall see you next time.